Hello bros and welcome to Effect Zero Profile Production and expert Sakura Alien. So I haven't really set it up fully this time. Let's see so everything is set up right. Yeah, this should be like there. Alright, so I have a new audio device, so for hopefully reading should sound a lot better. Though this actually had a light on it that actually was so bright that it actually obscured my whole face in front of the camera. So yeah, I put some masking tape on it, so at least it doesn't show. But if you look clearly, you could actually see it. But you have to probably have to rewind to see it then. But let's jump into where we left off last time. Well, she's pressing up to me. She presses her hands to my chest, her fingers curling in on themselves, and looks up at me winsomely. Our eyes meet. Ina blinks, her lashes trembling, and says softly, I've grown tired of luxury, having lived in a palace all my life. A change of scenery would be appreciated, and I would be willing to put up with any discomfort for your sake. Please, darling. Ina leans in closer still until I can feel her warm breath brushing against my cheek. Do not push me away. You are the first human I met when I first arrived upon this planet. That must count for something. Well, she technically crashed into me. How did that actually didn't kill me? A little bit weird. Do we have... Do we not have any connection? Well, she did crash in to me, so I suppose that's some kind of connection. I guess so, but that doesn't mean I've got to go along with all your plans. That's I. This situation is rather awkward, to say the least. I wish Ina wasn't so insistent, but I think I understand where she's coming from. This is her first night spent upon this planet. She doesn't know much about humans, but she does know me. She decided she can trust me after I inevitably broke her fall during her descent, and now she refuses to spend time with anybody else. She gotten herself rather attached, like a baby gosling to their mother. Part of me does think this is cute, but therein lies a problem. I am a guy, and Ina is a girl. She's a very pretty girl, in fact, clad in skin-tight outfit, and she seems determined to make me her husband. I'm afraid if we spend too much time together, my mind will begin to overheat from various fantasies, shall we say. Spending a night with Ina in my cramped apartment would be akin to torture. She might be blissfully unaware of what effect her close proximity is having upon my body, but it's waning down on me. I don't know if I'm mature enough to handle this situation, but are you sure you want to stay with me? I'm 100% sure. I can't change your mind? Not even by 1%. And you aren't tempted by Hori's cooking. It's quite an enticing proposition, but no. I must remain strong for the sake of our future marriage. It will not do for the sleep under the roof of another, not after I propose to you, darling. Actually, I think marriage is pretty much pointless. I mean, it is fun to go to marriage once just to experience it. I haven't got married to anyone yet, but I would like to experience the whole thing at least once. But after that, marriage is just pointless. And I mean, I think any girl or all girls with discriminate me now because I'm saying that, but let me explain then. You get married because a girl wants you to marry her. But why does she want you to marry her? I mean, Is it that she want proof on paper that you love her when you can say it every day for the rest of your life? Doesn't make sense. And also, marriage is also sometimes used as a way to get half of your belongings if you have a divorce. So I would say set up a prenup that you, if you ever split apart, you go out with the things you had going in, but anything you put your both your money on, you split that equally between you. If she refused to marry you after that one, then you know she's just trying to get your stuff. If she won't agree to it, you know she's just trying to get your stuff, and that means the marriage is totally pointless. You just lose if you actually agree to it. I mean, marriage is only for to experience, and I would ever never get married to anyone without having that prenup set up first. Alright, continue. It was one-sided proposal. I never reciprocated. I'm still not sure about this marriage thing, but I glance over Ina's shoulder to Hiyori. What do you think about all of this? I think it's be more sensible if Ina stayed with me. I'm sure I have more space and the means to look after her, but she seems attached to you. Hiyori giggles. I'd feel guilty if I forced you to come along with me. As Ina is our guest, I think we should let her do what she wants. I concur. Ina nods eagerly, her hair shifting about her shoulders. I should be allowed to do what I want as a guest, and for tonight at least I want to stay with you. Ina says for tonight at least, but I have a single feeling things won't work out that simply. Knowing Ina, not that I do, not at all that well, she get attached to my apartment, crudy though it is, and then she won't want to leave. She stay there for days, maybe even weeks or months, until she tires of the place, and I have to look out for her. And I have to cook for her too. I actually like cooking. But my cooking is extreme. It's extreme to such amounts that nobody else likes it, but every time I cook food, it's the best food I ever tasted, and it only gets better. But everyone else that tastes my food doesn't like it. But I can't say I go to extreme with spices. I like strong taste, and sometimes the things I can make spicy that actually fit into the food, well, no one can eat that. Say it simply. I mean, I know my friends that taste it says it's too spicy and they cannot feel anything else but the spice. But I actually do feel everything and the spice. I mean, I can taste like spaghetti. Well, the spaghetti with the thing you have to it, you can make that as spicy as you like. And I can make it extremely spicy and still feel the taste of all the food. But when someone else eats it, they can't feel anything else but the spice. So yeah. Well, spice I mean chili. It's called spice in my language, I think. No, it's actually called chili here too. Well, it's extreme. I used a lot of chili in my food usually. I usually make a sauce to food that you can actually use sauce to, and I make that extremely spicy. I mean, everyone can eat that food, but they cannot take any of the sauce. If they want any sauce to it, they have to make it themselves, or take something less spicy. But let's continue. My cooking is nowhere near as good as yours. Ina's losing out, but she doesn't seem to care. Hiyori, to my surprise, doesn't seem to care at all that much either. I thought she'd be less approving of this arrangement than she is. She really is too nice for her own good, or maybe she's simply too pure to know what could I go down as a result of this arrangement. Either way, she betrayed me. I've got no allies left in this fight. I tried to do the right thing, really, I did, but it's 2 against 1. I can't keep arguing. Not against Ina's puppy dog eyes. Well, it was an actual fight. Well, then I would say, bring more to fight me. But I like fights that is against the odds is against me. Surprisingly, I never lost one, even though I had 5 people against me once. Well, it was when we were in preschool and such. And people, kids are cruel at that age. So, well, we got in a fight, 5 against me, and surprisingly, I won. I never lost a fight, ever, even against people that are bigger than me. I mean, I actually got hit once in the face by a guy that was, well, a little more than twice my size. I didn't even stumble. I didn't even take a step back. I just took it straight up without even flinching. That is not easy for people to do. Going up to someone that's more than twice your size and not even flinching the slightest bit when it hits you right in the face. Not many people can do that at all. I'm not happy about this, but alright, fine. I'll capitulate after our pause. You can stay with me. Yay! In exchange, surely her chest pushed up against mine. Thank you, darling. I knew I could rely on you. You really are a wonderful human. Harry is rather wonderful, isn't he? I'm partial to him myself. Thanks for the vote of confidence, guys. My share is not cooperating with me. There. Now it feels comfortable. Let's just see if the camera works as it should. Yes. Actually, there. If you look right there on my self cam, you can see that it actually is a light, and that light is extremely strong. Trust me. I mean, you can see here on my headset there's a light on the side, and that light is 3 times as strong as those on the sides. So, yeah. Right, let's continue reading. Thanks for the vote of confidence, guys. I glanced away, trying and failing not to focus on the warm, soft sensation pushed up modestly against me. Her chest is rather big, and that skin-tight suit of hers is doing nothing to cover her goods. Your outfit isn't really appropriate for wandering the streets, though. You could get a lot of curious stares. Really? tilts her head to one side. Why is that? It's showing a lot of skin. Is it? I thought my attire was rather modest myself. It is common for my people who hail from Corval to wear much less. It is a hot planet, and too many layers can be awfully uncomfortable. Maybe that's true on Corval, but this is Earth. People tend not to dress like that, unless they're cosplaying. I think we need to go get you some new clothes if you want to blend in. What do you say, Hiyori? That sounds like a good idea to me, eh? Hiyori giggles. Luckily, it's Saturday. Tomorrow we can meet up at and go shopping together if you like. You can also show Ina around. I think she might enjoy that. Oh, yes. Ina draws away from me at long last, then beams brightly, hands clasped at her front. I would enjoy that very much. I'm most curious about this plan. I want to explore every inch of it. Exploring every inch of Earth might be a bit much, but we can certainly go to Shinjuku and maybe Shibuya. I'm sure we'll be able to pick out a lot of adorable outfits for you, Ina. You're so pretty, you look good in anything. Wonderful. I cannot wait. Ina sighs, her palms pressed against her cheeks. I'm so glad I landed upon this planet. The people are so nice, this food is delicious, and tomorrow I shall explore it to my heart's content. I really am lucky. Now I wonder how we got back there without being spotted too much. Oh, is this your abode, Haru? It is awfully cozy. Yeah, I guess you could call it that. I wasn't born here, but it's been my home since I enrolled at university. Ah, yes. Ina glanced about my room, her snub nose twitching like a rabbit's. She isn't smelling my room, is she? If so, that's kind of embarrassing. I can tell that this residence belongs to you. It has your scent all over it. Well, I guess that confirms both my suspicions. Ina was indeed sniffing my room, and this revelation is in fact embarrassing. I feel my cheeks turning red, which seems to be a common occurrence around Ina. Her skimpy outfit makes it hard to know where I should be placing my eyes. Simply being around her makes me feel like a creep. I am sorry to hear that, I guess. I murmur while running a hand through my flowing hair. Hope that isn't a problem. Oh no, it's quite alright. I'm glad that this room smells of you. It makes it feel more familiar somehow. Easy there, Tiger. You only know me for a few hours. Don't get too attached. I am aware indeed, but I would very much like to get to know you better. I think we have a real connection, you and I. Because you crash landed on my back on the university roof. That's right. There's a billions of people upon this planet, or so I have heard, yet it was upon you that I fell. Our encounter was most serendipitous, and I think that must count for something. We were fated to be together. It is written in the stars. In the stars, huh? I am an astronomer myself, but that sounds like some new age mumbo jumbo if I ever heard it. I didn't think Ina being an actual alien from actual space would be interested in horoscopes. Maybe I was mistaken. Do they even have horoscopes on her planet? I have no idea, but there must be some crossover between Koval and Earth's customs. Alien though she is, Ina doesn't feel like an extraterrestrial. If it weren't for her strange attire, coupled with her strange turn of phrase, I think her an ordinary girl, just like, well, maybe not quite like a Yori, who isn't all that normal herself, but like any of my other classmates. I wish to familiarize myself with your planet and with its culture. With some luck, that should bring me even closer to you, darling. Oh, are you sure? You sure I enthused, huh? Oh yes. When I set my mind to something, I give it my all. I'm being very, very earnest right now. I'm glad to hear it, I guess. It seems like you know quite a bit about Earth already, though. I know some things, but I could always stand to discover more. I wish to participate in your culture and involve myself in your daily life. I actually want to go to Japan and experience Japanese culture. Well, not quite the same like going to another planet, though. I'm very interested in your planet and in you, darling. Yeah, I figured as much. You've not been exactly subtle on that score. You do a pretty good job at integrating too. I mean, you're in my room. Yes, I suppose I am. My first few hours upon this planet have gone better than I could have anticipated, and I've always been an optimist at heart. I am so fortunate that I ran into a kind man like you. Though I know a little of your species, I doubt many would be willing to let stranger like me stay with them. This proves my early hypothesis. You really are a good person. I'm just a pushover. You're selling yourself short. Ina stabs a finger in my direction, her pale green treasure shifting about her shoulders. You're nice. That cannot be contested. I believe it wholeheartedly based upon your actions. Ina sniffs again, her nostrils quivering. And upon your scent. So we're back to my smell again, are we? Does this girl share some of her DNA with a bloodhound? Now I'm getting self-conscious. I was already pretty self-conscious given Ina's scantily clad presence in my bedroom. This is the second time you mentioned that. I frown. Are you trying to say that I smell? You do, yes, but it's not an unpleasant smell. I've grown very fond of it. Ah. Ina inhales deeply, her long eyelashes falling shut. I feel so relaxed. I'm glad one of us does. I've been on the edge ever since Ina and I left the campus. I was extensively anxious during our trek back to my apartment about running into any passerby that almost certainly would have been suspicious given Ina's appearance. I did lend Ina my coat during our walk to cover her up, but I could hardly let her borrow my shoes. She had traps back barefoot, which to my surprise didn't seem to bother her. At the very least, she showed no outward sign of discomfort. Maybe there's also souls of corvans, or whatever her people are called, are made of tougher stuff than human souls. I wonder if she is particularly ticklish. That might be something to test out. But no, I'm getting distracted. Speaking of distraction, Ina was awfully taken by all the sights we passed during our walk back. She stopped to stare at every little thing which took her fancy, which reduced our pace to a snail's crawl. I never seen anybody gush over a vending machine before. I didn't know such a thing was possible, but Ina managed it. Tonight has been full of surprises. It's further a miracle I didn't alert any of my housemates when bonding Ina's inside the apartment. Trying to explain her presence away to Kyushi and the others would be a nightmare. I probably have to face them at some point though. If Ina means to stay here, she'd definitely end up running into them. My apartment is small and old, and the walls are thin. Noise travels down the hallway with ease. It'd be impossible to hide a pet hamster in here, undetected, let alone a girl. Thinking about it is enough to give me a headache. I can't help but feel anxious. But oh well, these are problems for me of the future to worry about. Right now I have more pressing concerns. Ah yes, this flooring beneath my feet feels so good. It's very refreshing. I believe I have heard it said that such flooring is called tatami in your country. Yeah, that's right. This is tatami. It's pretty old tatami too at that. It's really nothing special. I wonder how tatami floor actually feels. I would like to actually feel it, but I mean, in my country, finding tatami floor, well, it's close to zero. You actually have to probably scout out an entire city to be able to find it. And I'm not meaning a small city, I mean a big one. I beg to differ. Your planet is full of interesting sights and smells. Why it's overflowing with them? We have nothing like this on Corval, or this, or this. Ina hops about my room like a bunny, eyes wide, and she examines my things. She takes books from my shelves and flips through them, rifles through my sock drawer, then gets down on her haunches to peer at the electrical outlet and my laptop currently plugged in. She pokes at the outlet with one finger, her eyes wide. Oh, how intriguing. I can sense power flowing from this peculiar fixture upon your wall. What could it be for? I must investigate this matter further. That doesn't warrant investigation, it's just an electrical outlet. Electrical? It's a form of energy. I frown. Explaining the concept of electricity to an alien from another planet was not how I anticipated my Friday evening going. Well, electricity, it powers items for keeping food fresh, for keeping lights on, and other various things that is in your day-to-day life. That's would I describe it to an alien. Well, if they actually could understand human speech, that is. Because that might be a little more complicated otherwise. Uh, Explaining the concept of electricity from another planet was not how I anticipated my Friday evening going. We use electricity to power a lot of applications. I actually thought about saying that first, but I wasn't sure if I was right, so I didn't. It makes out TVs work and our laptops and our phones. It's very useful. Oh, sounds like most valuable resource. I imagine only the wealthiest of you Earthlings can afford so-called electricity. Must be reserved for royalty. Hey, Haru. Ina peers at me over her shoulder. Are you an Earthling prince? Yeah, right. I snort. Do you really think a prince would live in a rundown dump like this? I'm just a regular guy. You say that, yet you're able to control this electricity at will. Surely this is an immense privilege. Not really. Most people have access to electricity regardless of how wealthy they are. It's an integral part of most people's lives. Our society would be able to function without it. It's like a basic human right at this point. Now come away from the socket. I don't want you to electrocuting yourself. Oh my. Ina gets her feet and brushes her tights free of lint. Are these electrical outlets dangerous? They can be if you poke around at them like that. It's not a toy. Try to be more careful. I understand. I shall endeavor not to cause you any problems, darling. Thanks. It's appreciated. I smile at Ina as she smiles in return. While her presence is a bit of a nuisance, I find I can be angry with her. Not when she is so very earnest. I know she doesn't mean to cause any problems. She simply can't help but be enamored by all Earth has to offer. She'd never been to this place before. After all, the things I take for granted must all seem very new and strange to her. By the way, looking up and down and my arms crossed, I thought you said you were tired. Oh yes, Ina blinked surprised. I was so taken by your abode, my fatigue escaped my attention. I had quite forgotten about my own condition until now. You forgot that you were sleepy? Yes, I suppose I did. I tried to scatterbrain at times. I'd say. Oh, it's an eyebrow. This girl really is an airhead. I bet she the sort who skips meals once she gets sconed in a task. Not that I have much room to judge on that score. I can't get hyper focused on tasks too, particularly when space is involved. Back when I was a kid, said you used to have to tear my physically away from the telescope when we went to stargazing. I was gonna see if my microphone still works. Yeah. I just need to make sure because it's a new headset. I haven't been able to make it function to 100%, but the microphone seems to be working out well. The headphones, though, that remains to be worked out. Back when I was a kid, said you used to have to tear me physically away from the telescope when we went out stargazing. I was so enthralled by the night sky, all else seemed to fade away. Ina must be experienced something similar, but 10 times more intense. Do you want to get ready for bed? I doubt you have to wear those clothes to sleep, so you can borrow one of my spare shirts. Is that alright? I would not wish to inconvenience you. It's not a problem. I have a lot of button-up shirts, and anyway, I smile. I think it's a bit too late to worry about inconveniencing me after you all but begged me to let you stay here. I did not beg, I simply asked. And quite intensely at that. Well, maybe. I could not stand to be parted from you, darling. We do have a connection after all. Yeah. I rolled my eyes. We've been through this rigmarole before. I don't want to add any further fuel to this particular fire. You know, it's attached enough as it is without me enabling her. I dig out one of my shirts for you and you can sleep in this spare futon I set up for you. Luckily for you, I had an extra. Could I not sleep instead with you? No way, we do not know one another that well. I'm not the kind of guy who sleep with a woman after one night. You think I'm some kind of opportunistic scumbag? Those are the last words I would use to describe you, darling. You are far from too dear to perform any wicked deeds. That is precisely why I wish to sleep with you. I know I can trust you. Maybe you can trust me, but I can't trust you. I'm a shy, blushing maiden. You keep your hands to yourself, alright? I can make no promise on that score, I'm afraid. Ina. Oh, alright then. I will try to do my very best, but please forgive me if in my judgment, I'm very fond of you after all. Yeah, I figured. So, I glanced about my room. All of a sudden, it seems very small. If I lay out the buffer, there be barely any floor left. The thought of passing the night with Ina starting to make my heart pound. This is going to be a very close-knit arrangement. Will my heart be able to handle it? I guess I got no choice. I need to toughen it out. Do you want to have a bath before you sleep? I address Ina once more, forcing my voice and my face into some semblance of casualness. I don't want Ina to know how much I am beginning to freak out about this. It should help suit you after your long journey. It helps you get to sleep faster. And I append inside my head, if you go to sleep quickly, then you have less of distraction. That sounds like a pleasant suggestion indeed. I'm partial to taking a long relaxing soaks in the palace bathhouse. It is one of my favorite pastimes, in fact. I fear I do not know how baths works upon this planet, though. I am a novice when it comes to Earth and its customs. Would you mind showing me how your bath functions? Sure. I was going to offer you help anyway. I would not want to throw you into the deep end. Or a pen with my head risk you flooding the bathroom. I don't think my housemates would take very kindly to that. 20 minutes later. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. Oh. Oh, my headphones work. I can hear the sound actually. Oh, that's good to know. But that's all I have for Sakura Alien. This time I'll see you next time. See you next time. Bye bye!